much for watching my video. My name is Breezy and I am a yoga teacher. Now, I specialize in trauma-informed practices such as yoga, and I love teaching people how to do deep work, how to really self-identify, begin to raise their vibrations, and become more introspective, making that mind-body-spirit connection. So today, we're going to talk about how to deal with a toxic ex. Now, recently on Love Breezy Bree, we talked about how to get through breakups. Now, in that video, we really started to discuss some ideas and concepts and why it's important to start to do some self-evaluation. It's a lot of work. We just started the conversation. So today we're going to talk about toxic exes, because this is really a thing. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I would be so honored if you gave me a thumbs up. So, how to deal with a toxic ex. Now, breakups, as mentioned in the last video, are so hard. They are tough enough without there being bad blood. But let's face it, not everybody breaks up in a happy-go-lucky, kumbaya, spiritual aligned way, although I do like that conscious uncoupling idea for sure. But a lot of times you're breaking up because someone is not fitted with the other, and sometimes one person doesn't like that they're being broken up with, right? So what do you do when your ex turns toxic? Now, what does that really mean? Toxicity is anything that makes you feel like you are uncomfortable, you're afraid, you're triggered, you have anxiety, you feel unsafe, unsecure, your root chakra has been uprooted, ungrounded, you do not feel like you're making a true alignment back to self due to something external. Now, when your heart is broken, you're already vulnerable, even if you did the breakup, even if you knew it was the best decision. If you are truly self-aware, I know I've had to do the breaking up before, and even though I knew I needed to get out of that relationship and I knew that I wasn't good for that person and that person wasn't good for me, it didn't change the pain that I knew I was inflicting not only on myself, but on the other person. So I still had that empathy and sympathy with that person, knowing that I was about to put us through a bit of a painful separation. Now, with that said, I've never truly dealt with a full-on toxic ex, but a lot of my clients have. And the first thing I always tell them to do is you have to disconnect. Sometimes that means disconnecting from friends and family that you guys were mutually acquainted with, disconnecting from any social scenes that you guys were connected with, not trying to one-up their stories with your variation of the story, completely taking the high road, and most importantly, silence. Crickets. Silence. Seriously, there is nothing like silence to quiet bullies, trolls, and of course, toxic people. Not just toxic exes, toxic people. Do the, as they call it, the gray rock method. It's like you're just blending in. And that has actually been probably the saving grace for me, is that whenever the relationship was coming to an end or it needed to separate, instead of me giving any reason to the other person to like light a flame under them, to want to in any capacity come at me, I just really pulled back. I kind of went off the radar, off the grid. Now, I know that can't be true for everybody. There are people who have children together, people who are breaking up finances, and people who were in abusive, toxic relationships and now are in abusive, toxic, non-relationship. Trust me, I understand the differences. But the thing is this, you have to put yourself first. This is the time where you tell yourself, there is nothing that another person can do to take me out of what I need to do for myself. Now, I'm not saying that this work is easy, but I'm saying that it is absolutely paramount to your survival. You never want to make a permanent decision over a temporary emotion. Suicide, depression, anxiety, addiction, all of these things are really normal when you go through a traumatic event. And one of the most traumatic events that we all share in common is, you guessed it, a romantic breakup. So adding that fuel on the fire, on the flame, coming up with more triggers, more traumas by having toxicity in that breakup is not good for your health, not good for your well-being. Now, what else can you do other than disconnecting, doing the gray rock method, becoming like that gray rock, blending in with all the other rocks, trying not to stand out, trying not to, get that person all riled up, not coming back at them, not trying to speak your point of view. Remember, some people just love a stage. Some people just love a platform. It is exactly like internet trolls. I mean, they just want to be seen, heard, and considered. Now, one of the things that I think is important is to remember that everybody is human. Everybody's human. Everybody hurts. Everybody has insecurities. People have different attachment styles, different vibrations. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel like they are right. Like they were the ones who were so amazing, right? And you guys are not together anymore because of something you did. And we all know that that is impossible. There are many reasons why people break up. It is never one-sided. I'm not saying that there's any blame to go around, any shame, any guilt, but the truth is that if you can be the more elevated, the wiser one, the higher vibrational one, if you can be the person that leads by example, you never know who you're inspiring. You could be inspiring your children, you could be inspiring friends, you could be inspiring family, strangers for that matter, and you are mostly proud of yourself. One of the things that I know for sure is when I've gone through really tough times, breakups, toxicity, whatever it may be, and I've, as they call it, joined the GOAT rodeo, I always look back on it later when I've calmed down and I'm better and I'm more aligned and healed, and I've always been so disappointed with myself, like, why did I let my emotions overtake me? Why wasn't I more self-aware? Why wasn't I more connected back? And so now I'm more intentional, and I tell myself, okay, Bree, I know that you're in pain. I know that you're angry. I know that you're sad. I know that you're hurt. But rather you hurt yourself, you hurt the other person, you hurt some third party, you hurt the wall, whatever the case may be, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it 100% of the time. This is not you. This is your emotions speaking for you. So go be silent. Wait. Heal. Be around people who you trust. Get out in nature, ground your energy, try yoga for the first time if you've never practiced. Do something to connect back to yourself. Make yourself proud. And if you do not know how to do that, keep watching Love Breezy Bree. Check out my podcast, Yoga Podcast. Whether you've ever practiced or not, I will help you to start a practice. All right, thank you so much